This is our Affirming Diversity project, and my name is Francia.
I'm Jasmine Hernandez. So our driving questions are how to connect events to us, what can we do to stay informed, how can we distinguish real news from fake news, and how we can respond to current events. With that, the CRT principles that are relevant are CRT6, reshaping curriculum, CRT3, learning within the context of culture, CRT7, teacher as facilitator, CRT4, student-centered instruction, CRT5, culturally meditated instruction. With that, the justification for this is that current events affect everyone in the community, as well as our students. Therefore, our students should be aware of what's going on and learn from them. In addition to making content being taught relevant to everyone's life, which will make students feel more connected and become more engaged in their learning, since they can see the direct effect that it has on them.
So who benefits from this? The students benefit from this because it will inspire them to become more proactive members of their community. And then the schools benefit because the students will become good citizens of their society and will learn to advocate for their community. And the community benefits because the students will learn appropriate ways to advocate for them. However, things that we do have to keep in mind is that news sometimes are overpowered by businesses and politics and many other factors. And sometimes the voices of the people are not always heard. And there's a lot of things that influence whether news are shown or how much attention is brought to specific news. And different people have different amount of access to news. So an idea that we had for ways that you can use it is comparing points of view of different sources. So something that we thought would be a good idea is having students choose like a specific current event. So whether right now is like the war that's going on, and get different news sources. Like let's say they get a newspaper from their local newspaper, they get the New York Times, like an article from there, and let's say KFox News, and they compare how each news outlet has delivered the material and compare this perspective. Then to take a step further, what we can do is have the students evaluate how reliable those news sources are, whether it's that money plays a source in how they deliver the news, or whether it's that the news company is owned by someone that can be affected by the way the news is delivered. And then from there, we can have them like compare them and see what news outlet they find to be more accurate and reliable. And we added the picture to show how like one thing can be interpreted in many different ways. Another idea is making charts and graphs with statistics. So students can either read the articles and find the charts and graphs from there, and then take the graphs and present them to their classmates and show like, you see, for example, this graph tells us 60% of all parents think this. So that means that 63 out of 100 people think this. So having them explain it to their classmates or their partners in the class, or we can have students create their own graphs based on the information they read, but making it a lesson out of it, whether it's teaching them how like a graph has to include titles, scale, and labels, and whatever else is needed.
Another way that we can incorporate it is by having students survey people on their opinions. A way we could do this is allowing students to view perspectives within classrooms, their families, and the school in general. Students can take a current event and survey if people agree or disagree with it by charting it, incorporating math, such as Francia said earlier, what's happening in Ukraine, seeing if people think that we should be helping or not, and making a survey out of that. And also, with that, they will be able to talk about their opinions and see what others think. So being able to form their opinions from everything that they've learned and seeing why other people think what they think. Also, another way you can use it is by allowing students to express their points of views. You can have students write persuasive essays about their opinions on these current events. Um, and this allows for students to think about how they truly feel about a situation by doing research or hearing from others and forming their own opinions instead of just agreeing with what they might hear someone else say. And it also allows for them to work on their writing skills and explaining their own thoughts, which will incorporate language arts. Another way we can incorporate it is by having students interview their family. This allows for students to use personal connections to learn about history as well as current events. Students can interview their family members about multiple different things, such as if you're learning about a certain topic in history class or in any class, you can see if they've experienced those things, such as sexism, racism, and discrimination, or anything else. Also, if they have lived through another event that is similar to one that is currently happening, such as having an assignment where currently with like COVID-19, seeing if anyone in their family was alive during the Spanish flu or anything else that is similar to what they're going through now, as well as interviewing family members about their history and what they've been through to help develop personal connections to history, such as making a timeline and seeing what historical events their family members were alive for to grow those personal connections. Instead of just knowing about an event, they can connect it to themselves to better remember and understand the event.
So different ways that we can make the lessons accessible for students is that we can have them look into articles in their native language or in different languages if it's that they're learning the language or in their native. This gives them the comfort to be able to be more familiar with the material because they know more of the vocabulary. Something else would be using a lot of anchor charts and visuals. We put an example of one here, and it helps students be able to understand more of what's going on. If we have visuals, they can interpret the information better. And then we are with the interviews, how Jasmine mentioned in the surveys, we're allowing them to develop those oral skills that they need to communicate with people in the language they're learning, and also being able to practice their native language so they don't lose that and they have more of a strong base.
And here are our references and where we got the slides from. Thank you.